The Couch Deals are brought to you by the VLG Studio, the community for people with a story to tell.
You're now tuned in to the Couch Stealers Anime Podcast.
And guess what? You can't beat me because I'm the principal of Sans. Oh my god, he about to he got a hand. Let's go. He's having a full-on Shinji Ikari. Why am I fighting this thing?
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Couch Stealers. We appreciate y'all. You already know it's the one and only Mikey J.
And it's your boy AU.
Yo, appreciate y'all listening to us wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow us on all our platforms at Couch Stealers, and make sure you subscribe to that Couch Stealer YouTube, like I was mentioning before, so you do not miss this drop and many others. AU, we are back. We got spring season, not even season one, spring, season spring.
I don't think it's numbers.
Bro, listen, I'm beat. I'm gonna let y'all know right now. I'm beat. I've had a long ass weekend, so I'm tired. But we still here rocking with y'all. But it was a fun weekend. It was a fun weekend as far as anime is concerned. We got a lot of great stuff. I caught everything, even Vigilantes. How much what did you catch? Let me just start with that.
To be fair, I binged Devil May Cry, and I think that took up a lot of my time.
Facts.
For catching things.
Mm-hmm.
So I caught Devil May Cry, caught One Piece, obviously. I caught Lazarus, and I caught something else.
Fire Force. Fire Force. Gotcha. Fire Force. I mean, we had a good weekend. It was a good anime weekend.
It was a little slower than I thought.
Really? You thought it was slower?
I thought we were gonna come back with a huge bang in terms of like. I think I anticipated too much for the first episodes of some stuff, as well as like the return of Fire Force, as well as One Piece. I don't know, where do we start? Let's start One Piece. Let's start One Piece.
We can start One
Piece.
Piece.
Since it's been the longest,
we've
been waiting for that to come back.
Did you know it was going to be 2 episodes? Because I completely.
Yes, I knew.
I did. I
sent it to you on Instagram.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I do feel like that was something that I was told before, but when I turned on Crunchyroll, the first thing I said, "Oh, we got 2 in this bitch. All right, we got 2 in it. Okay."
I mean, but they hit us with the classic One Piece. You know, they gave us a whole entire episode, pretty much a recap.
Which I'm fine with, though. I'm
fine with. Yes,
it's
been some time, so it does make sense. But I feel like they could have came back a little harder than that if they're going to give us 2 episodes. But that's my own personal opinion. However, I will say, this is the first time where I feel like One Piece kind of put their nuts on the table in terms of budget. Bro, the animation of the opening itself is gas. It's fire. They went crazy even just on the opening. And it showed throughout the episodes, too, that they really are putting the budget out there, I think, for animation for One Piece. And I think that's going to take it to a whole other level.
Did somebody mention that, too, that One Piece was or at least the creator? No, but the creator of One Piece. Creator of One Piece. Oda, bro, I'm so tired. Oda came out and was like, listen, the animation is going to be so much stronger going forward. And y'all,
they said better animation and better pacing.
And to be fair, the wild part about the better animation was we were getting crazy animation before they went on the hiatus.
Yes,
so
literally.
When they said that, the first thought that I came was like, how are they going to give us better?
Get better?
But it got better. And I agree with you with the whole idea of, the animation from start to finish is crazy. I will say, for me, one of the best things about that first episode or the first 2 episodes.
First, I was going to say which one, because are we just going to call them one episode?
I'm calling them one episode.
All right, let's call it one episode.
I'm going to call it one episode. It was, I'll specify that it was 2, but I'm talking about them in totality. Like, I'm going to be bringing up points from both episodes. First of all, I love seeing goon Straw Hats. Seeing some goonery from all the Straw Hats was really nice. I love Nami. I do. I love Nami. Nami is such a ride or die for everybody.
That move that Nico pulled was fire. But go ahead.
It was fire. No, it was fire. Don't get me wrong. But don't talk shit about Robin or her island or all the people. No hesitation. And I know they did it in kind of a lighthearted way where it was Nami came up and afterwards it was just ha ha. You heard the music in the background, but no, Nami was dead serious about don't keep Robin's name, keep her island, keep everybody, keep them out your mouth.
Goddamn mouth.
So I appreciated that. I think that, to your point, or at least to counter your point, I was okay with the feeling that I got with it coming back, because the first 2 episodes I felt like continued to raise the bar, or it needs not raise the bar, but remind us where the bar is. For we are in some really, really deep shit right now.
Yeah, they're in some deep shit.
Yeah, no, they're in deep.
But they got the cards. They got the cards, and low key, we're thanking Nico for that, because she shut Luffy right the fuck up and said, "Bro, knowledge is power." And Luffy was like, "Oh, all right."
Mm-hmm. And again, that's where Luffy's crew comes in to kind of help him from that and make sure he doesn't get caught up in the sauce with that, because Luffy don't care. Luffy will give you all the information just because it's like
100%, just because he thinks he's going to be the king of the pirates and nothing's going to stop him. But I will say, even like during my rewatch as well, like I'm still not all caught up, just because obviously it's a lot of fucking episodes. But
yo, don't let anybody that we've been trying to get on the One Piece here you say that. I'm gonna let you know right now.
No. But it's still doable. This is my second rewatch. So like, it's doable. Like, I ain't trying to hear from nobody that's gonna say and act like they can't watch One Piece because of the episodes. Something that I kind of realized in my rewatch, and then it kind of really came into fruition and played itself out as well in the episode when Nico kind of hit that move on him.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the whole entire show, Nico, I think, is like the only one Luffy listens to without any fucking complaints. If Robin says something, he's just like, "Oh, okay." Anybody else, he's complaining or he's like giving you a hard time about it, whatever it is. Whenever Robin says something, he listens immediately. Like, there's no fight, no pushback at all.
Robin is somebody that's been around the block a time or two. And not only that, I think she has positioned herself within the Straw Hat crew as somebody that, if I got something to say, it's important. Because Robin's not just spewing off at the mouth, saying anything crazy or laughing or jumping around. Like, she giggles when Chopper does something cute. We all giggle when Chopper does something cute. But, like, it comes down to when it has to get to the, something serious, something that's important, and Robin has to be the one to say it, everyone needs to shut up and listen. And in that point, her grabbing Luffy, because Luffy was going to Luffy was going
to blurt it all. He was like, "Who's alive? That nigga over there, they all alive. Yeah, what's up?" Like, yo, all leverage lost.
Exactly. So it was a perfect example of Luffy not only being a captain and listening to his crew, but Robin being in her role as somebody that I need to make sure that we keeping Luffy on the path to be the king of the pirates and everything that means, including making sure that if he going, be doing his goonery thing, I got to make sure he don't give too much away.
100%.
That's important. That was incredibly important to make sure that they didn't do that. Now, Kizaru coming to the island.
I really like seeing Kizaru, by the way.
It is.
I felt like it's not even that we didn't see him in a while. I felt as though out of the admirals, he was like the third weakest. And I really think that with the animation and how it's increased throughout the years, seeing Kizaru again, like, I feel like they gave him a bit of a bump in terms of how powerful he looks.
Just because he's the third, and I agree with you, he's number 3 as far as power is concerned from the admirals from the Marine.
When we saw 100%.
He's the third, but I mean,
but it feels like the gap got closer now that we can kind of see him in a better way. I feel like they did bump him up in terms of how powerful he looks.
I mean,
he as powerful? I don't. Yes, obviously he's an admiral, and
that's my point.
So, but I just mean he just didn't look as powerful as the other two, and I think if we got to see Kizaru in this light, it would have looked a little bit different.
I think it's also great to mention, again, if you're an admiral, you're going to be strong. And so being one of the 3 admirals with the only 2 people being ahead of you.
Well, there's more now, but yeah.
I know, but I'm saying at that point in Marineford, with those 2 being ahead of you, what's it called? Akainu, and I always forget
Akoji.
Thank you, Akoji. Seeing the 2 of them ahead of you, obviously those are 2 of the strongest characters in the entire series. So if you're number 3, still pretty good. You're still stronger than a lot of people.
But I'm saying he might not even be number 3.
Fair.
He might. From what it seems like, he doesn't want anything more than what he has. He's perfectly fine with where he is.
There was a line that he had in the series when he was talking to one of the big baddies. I call them the big baddies because it's just one of the council members, but I call the council members big baddies.
The 5 elders, but yeah.
Yeah, when he came up to him and he was like, "Listen, just let me keep my principles." That was such a fire line because it's like, look, I will be a soldier. I will be the perfectly good soldier you need me to be. But like, come on, don't ask me to compromise me. Like, come on. Like, I'm compromising already so much. At least let me still be me about it. So I thought that was a really interesting line and a really like well placed.
He's always been an interesting character.
But we haven't, to your point, gotten a lot of that in depth with him. So I think this is going to be our opportunity to do that, and I'm looking forward to it.
100%. Definitely looking forward to it. And I feel like sending him in by himself though is kind of crazy. Like, he's an admiral for sure, but like, it's just you. There versus the whole entirety of the Straw Hats.
That don't matter to Luffy though. Luffy knew immediately as soon as dude showed
up. No, for sure.
He was like, yo, somebody strong
is here. But the thing was, like, I still think sending one admiral in alone to stop the Straw Hats is nuts.
Well, it's not to stop the Straw Hats as much as it is to kill Vegapunk. That's really all we trying to get to Vegapunk. So as long as we can do that, mission accomplished. You can bring Straw Hat Luffy in. I think everything else kind of, cherry on top. But the whole reason why they even there,
it just seems like a suicide a little bit.
I mean, it was a suicide for CP0 and Rob Lucci and them.
They didn't know the Straw Hats were going to beat her. That was a mistake. Like, that was like literally you drew the shit into this stick.
But once they found out the Straw Hats were there, I think Lucci wanted his fair one with Luffy. And granted, as much as we love seeing that, I won't say it compromised the mission, but he definitely went away from mission protocol for a quick second because he said, I got to get my rematch. And two, it was perfectly great for us to see that Lucci is squarely put in the position that he is now as far as power levels are concerned. He will never, I feel very confident in saying Rob Lucci will never even get close to beating Luffy in a fight ever again. Like, I think that ship has sailed.
I feel like that is not even, I don't even know why we talking about that.
That's what I'm saying. That ship has sailed.
You're absolutely correct.
Because
it was nice getting the rematch. It was
great.
Because it also showed that despite, it showed exactly how long it's been and like what those power levels looked like. And it was really cool to see. Like, we got to see Rob Lucci, who's clearly been training because he's strong. He is very fucking strong. And it still wasn't enough, like, at all.
Not even a little bit.
Oh, we gotta give him some credit. He was pretty strong.
I'm not saying that he wasn't strong because I agree he is very strong and being.
I don't think Luffy had to even. I don't think
he had to go. He didn't have to do that.
Gear 5. I don't think he did it personally.
Luffy was proving.
I think he could have beat him in Snake Man.
Luffy was proving a point with going to Gear 5. One thing I do want to ask you though, because I have some thoughts and I will try to keep my thoughts succinct, but also I will try and I'll try and let him cook for a little bit. I'll try and let him cook for a little bit. What'd you think of Frankie's new voice actor?
Dude, I was going to say, I was waiting. I was like, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I understand that there's nothing we can do about it. But I'm not happy. Like, it doesn't even feel like Frankie anymore.
That's my problem. It don't feel like Frankie anymore.
And it's not even just because of the voice. I feel like even the writing behind Frankie feels a little different. And maybe I'm overthinking this, but I feel like they changed the writing a little bit for the new voice actor so that Frankie could be something different, because we're obviously never going to get back the Frankie we lost, the one we loved. So I think even they changed the writing a bit. I'll have a better sense after I watch a few more episodes or something like that, but I'm not necessarily happy with it. But I know there's nothing we can do.
And that's why I want to let them cook for a little bit. I want to let them cook because it's only been 2 episodes. Really,
I got to hear the first super. If the super don't hit, it's a wrap.
So my fear is that there is going to be no.
That's what I was thinking too. I didn't want to say it.
My fear is that we heard our last super.
I think we heard our last super. I think they changed. That's what I said. Even in the writing, I feel like it's a little different. So I'm hoping that like some things stay the same. Like, I don't know. He could do his best voice impression for Super, yo. He could do his best.
So
don't take away super.
I don't know if it's as much, and that's the point. Like usually we see characters that, you know, someone either retires or passes away. The one that comes to mind is Uncle Iroh, General Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender. When Mako passed,
a little different, just because we
but,
really had no choice. He was
but my point being is that the voice actor that came in after Mako passed was someone who didn't try and change Iroh's voice completely. He almost tried to replicate what Mako had already been doing. So I was curious to see if, to your point, because it feels like the writing is done in a way that it's not a replication of what we've seen from Frankie before, from the voice actor from Frankie before. It seems like they're making Frankie an entirely different character because of the way the voice acting is going to go. And I'm not really comfortable with where that's going to hit. Again, it's only been 2 episodes technically, and I'm going to let them cook because it's One Piece and I ain't never going to doubt y'all. But the reality is, it is glaring. It was glaring.
Yes.
Every interaction that anyone had with Frankie, it was so glaring.
But I will say, like, he is a little, like, cooler? Not necessarily, like, cooler, like, he's a really cool, like, he seemed, like, more...
Smooth?
Yeah, a little smoother, like, in that sense. He seems a little bit more...
I got that sense, though.
A little more, like, new age. Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, the voice actor,
he's like a new
younger,
age.
So.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, even the writing had to change a little bit clearly because it doesn't feel like Frankie, not just from voice, but even from writing. So I feel like he is geared towards a little bit more of like our newer, like the younger audience rather.
As opposed to him being like because I always got the sense of Frankie as one of the big brother members of the crew. Absolutely. If not the big brother member of the crew.
Him and Nico were like, you know.
Exactly. Him and Nico Robin were... Jinbei's kind of sliding into that spot as well, too. But like the ones...
Jinbei like Unc.
Jinbei absolutely is Unc. I mean, I think Frankie like Unc. I feel like big brother Unc.
So he felt like Unc brother, where Jinbei feels more like Unc.
Got you. Okay. Jinbei does feel like directly Unc, where Frankie felt like the cool brother. Frankie felt like the cool older brother that could also be an Unc. Got you. I'm interested to see where they're gonna go. Like I said, I'm gonna let them cook when it comes to Frankie. I'm gonna let them cook when it comes to the character. I am interested to see what direction they go though, because I don't want to see one of my favorite characters from One Piece end up getting like an axe cut through his character to this point. 100%. I mean, like Frankie has always been Frankie.
One of my favorite characters. Yeah,
exactly. So
we're gonna see. I'm very hopeful for it, but obviously it's back. Is back. So
we back.
We back.
Yo, one thing that came this week, and I was not expecting it. You were not expecting it, and that was really fire across the board. Was Devil May Cry. Now, I want to talk about Devil May Cry because I felt like that was the perfect introduction to the spring season. We got all 8 episodes, so we got the chance. You wanted to binge it, you want to take your time on it. That was perfectly fine. But then, even on top of that, it's early. It's only been 1 week. I'm not going to get too ahead of my britches. But I will say, Devil May Cry is a sleeper pick anime of the season. It's a sleeper pick anime of the season. That was fire.
I was going to say that. I was like, I think collectively across the board, most people were like, I'm going to watch Devil May Cry. I wasn't expecting it to be fire. We got substance. We got story. We got world building. We got likable characters. Like, music selection was elite. Personally, as someone from our generation, I feel like it was a perfect selection for us. Considering when Devil May Cry came out, it makes sense as well. Fighting, a little bit of gore, which was good.
A lot of gore.
But it wasn't excessive gore, and I like excessive gore. So for me, it was like,
to be fair, we may also be a little desensitized because I actually thought it was I thought they hit the mark as far as gore is concerned.
I gotta cut.
I got some head chopping.
It's there.
Some sawing. I got some slicing. I got some holes. They did a pretty good job. But I felt with the gore.
I felt like they didn't like showcase it as like a forefronting thing. It was there. But you know how it is. Like when something's very gory, they're showing it, like innards and whatnot. You get what I'm saying? It was, so I feel like it wasn't that crazy. But Devil May Cry, sleeper pick. 1000%. We're on the same exact page. Completely and pleasantly surprised. And I have to also agree with you that it was really nice getting that first, because it like opened me up for the season and everything else to come. And yeah, it just made me excited about the season even more.
It did, because it was a great first step for, like you said, a great first step as we get into the new season. I think one thing that was interesting to watch was, and I may be in the minority on this, but Dante wasn't my favorite character of the show by far. Like there were,
not by far, but yeah, he was, because I still think he was a really, really good character.
Yep.
I just liked other characters, Enzo and Shorty. I can't remember her name right now.
I just know her as Lady because that's what Dante
Lady. those two were definitely my favorites, and I think Enzo edged everybody. I think Enzo was my favorite.
Nah, bro, White Rabbit was.
I'm not even talking about him, like, because as like he was the best character
by far.
Enzo was my favorite character.
Okay.
Enzo gave great comedic relief, and then they even gave him like a great death with respect. And then it made me feel differently about that character, which I didn't think was going to happen. I thought Enzo was just always going to be Enzo, and maybe even in his death, probably still be Enzo. But for them to give us a better light of this character that we viewed as a scumbag and let him die like that, it was nice. It gave him, it was a really nice touch. So I liked that. I liked Enzo's story.
So Enzo and Dante's relationship was probably something that I think stood out throughout the series or throughout the season, was seeing how Dante never really looked at Enzo and said, like, the most reliable thing about you is that, you're going to sell me off a personal gain at every chance you get. Like, that was something that was really great to see, because you got a sense of the dynamic that they've been all the way through. And y'all not slick. I did catch that Resident Evil reference that they threw in there. Y'all not slick. That was wild. He said, "Oh, that's it. That joint in Raccoon City." I was like, "The Resident Evil." So I love their dynamic too. And although Lady was someone who, she pissed me off at times, but she's just, her whole thing
she's growing.
She's growing, but her whole thing is like, all right, I'm gonna kill demons no matter what. I don't care what it is, what they doing. If it's a demon, if it got a horn, I'm shooting it. So like, yeah, we got a lot of that.
It came back to bite her ass.
It did.
But, great writing on that one.
I think it was great
bringing
writing.
that all together.
To be fair, I think the series had great writing all the way around. It did
100%.
Go ahead.
Normally, like, I feel like too, like, the way they paced. Normally, I wouldn't even like that kind of pacing. It felt a little fast. I felt like in other instances or other shows, when the pacing feels that quick, I feel like things don't get fleshed out in the way that I want them to. And they gave us a whole season that was relatively fleshed out for how fast and quickly things transition in terms of like where the story is going.
That entire season probably, like, canonically lasted like less than a week. Like,
yes,
that was definitely a less than a week type.
Yes.
So I think that's why it felt fast, because at times I did feel like the pacing felt like, man, I think the thing they did well was every time they, you felt like you were in a place that the pacing felt sped up. It was either because of, or it was either because they were giving you something, or they gave you something so significant that it felt like, oh, okay, so stakes have been raised. I understand. We got it here. Also, and this is for all of our League of Legends lovers out there, bro. Shout out to Aatrox. They had Aatrox walking around that bitch the whole season.
Was definitely Aatrox the whole season.
The whole time. Aatrox was walking around that bitch. So it was, shout out to everybody that rocks with League of Legends. But one character who I could never get around, and we definitely going back to the White Rabbit, but one character who I couldn't get behind the whole time was the one dude that survived the first encounter with the White Rabbit, that had the slashes on his face, that was doing it for, like, the one. The whole time I felt like that scene from Tropic Thunder, we was like, they had one good role in here for a black man, and they gave it to that's the whole thing that was playing in my head, because like, at what point, I didn't understand the end game at all. I understand, like, he's monitoring your daughters, but, and maybe, I don't know. I just, at some point, you got to know that you're not making it out of this. And not only are you not making it out of this, you have the opportunity to literally unleash hell, so therefore your daughters wouldn't even make it out of it. So it was counterintuitive to the whole situation. I'm like, what are you doing?
100%.
What are you doing?
What was I just watching where I said the same thing I said the same exact thing about like, this doesn't even make sense. You don't make it out of this no matter what. So why not? What was it? I'm gonna pass on it, but hopefully I remember it.
No, when you Yellow Jacket or something like that?
No. I'm not really into this latest season of Yellow Jacket. They're not giving me enough at all. Which really sucks. It's like, that's 2 seasons, dude. Like, I like it. It's enjoyable, but like Yellow Jackets, they have you watched From?
I've not watched From, and I actually do know what From. Yeah, that's the dude with the black dude from
yes, from the Wire.
Matrix. Well, I know from the Matrix.
Matrix,
not in the original one. We got to look at that.
What?
We got to look at that. If we talk about the same show From, I'm pretty sure that's the black dude from the Matrix. He just doesn't have his dreads. He was in Best Man. He the one that what's it called? Regina Hall was dancing on.
I do, because the first thing I thought of was Morpheus, and I'm like, bro, that ain't Lawrence Fishburne. I was like,
oh my god!
I was like, what are you talking about, dude? I was like,
nah,
what?
bro. He drove the Nebuchadnezzar, I think.
Yeah, Harold.
Yeah,
something. The last name started with a P. Peru, something. I don't know how to say it.
Perry the Platypus. For real though, I wanna get back to Devil May Cry, and although, like I said, I didn't like Dante's character. 2 things that stood out to me. One, the plight of the demons that were coming in. I thought that was a really well done, well fleshed out thing. It was a great touch, especially in the political climate we in now. It felt like a very well fleshed out thing to show, because, I mean, yeah, they're refugees, bro. Like, they just trying to. You can't even breathe over there. What else are they supposed to do?
This is like some crazy stuff. They can't even breathe, bro. Great point. They can't breathe, bro. There's no chance of survival. Like, it is impending doom over there unless you really level up on some, like, I don't know. You gotta like gigavolve.
Yo, for real. For real. That's the only way, and that's why the White Rabbit, to bring it back in full circle, the White Rabbit as a villain was an A+ tier villain.
Yes.
Like across the board, from the backstory, the fact that the reveal that he was even human, because the whole time, the whole time,
definitely thought he was a demon.
I definitely thought he was a demon, and so to get the reveal that he was actually human, and it was something about the cadence in which the voice act. I watched it in English dub. The English dub was really good, and something about the cadence of the way the White Rabbit spoke throughout the entire season, just, it felt like it made your skin crawl a little bit, but it was also like you couldn't look away, and you were like almost in a trance.
Man, it was very villanesque, and he had like you said, he had a cadence to him. Like there was a flow for you to get involved with. Like, it just kind of like you just bobbing your head, like when something good come on, you're like, oh, that you haven't heard before. You're like, yeah, It was like that, but it was villainous. So it's like, I'm bobbing my head to some real nasty shit right now. Like, you know what I mean? But I have a question, and maybe I was just like viewing this completely wrong. Was that his sister? Were they siblings, or it was just showing the parallels of their 2 lives and what
it was showing the parallel of their 2 lives. My question is, I believe that those parallels were happening at the same time. So wow, that's the point that I was thinking of. That was all happening at the same time in different locations. So they're around the same age, and so when we finally get to that full circle moment of them coming out, and that monster that came out the portal and lunched on them, I was like,
that was insane. He just started grubbing. He's like, I'm letting y'all know right now, I'm leaving here with something.
I'm leaving here with something. Get your hands off of me. That whole episode, I think the flashback episode was the best episode of the season.
I told you that was episode 6.
Yeah, and that was the best episode of the season. Between the animation
change, oof.
the backstory, I mean, and I had so many moments watching that episode where it hit me how dire the situation was. Like when the little girl that was running, little girl demon that was running around that ended up dying and getting sick and dying. They mentioned very, very early that most demon children do not survive. They mentioned that in like episode 2. And so when she started running up that hill and that first blood cough came out, I was like, oh, she ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, it's all set.
It's all set. And so getting not only that, seeing it in person, seeing it in that moment of, wow, this is really like the plight of the White Rabbit, of finally getting your found family, then your found family having nowhere else to go, your found sister dying, and now you getting the urge in you to be like, look, I can't let this continue to happen. Let me try and help out the ones that have taken me in. And then you get that help, you go to the next realm, and as soon as you walk through, you got doggone blickies pointed right at you. Like,
no hesitation squeezing either.
It was going to be a legendary crash out, regardless 100%. Of where we were going. It was going to be a legendary crash out. The White Rabbit head and fur was just a nice little crazy touch.
That was just the fact that he sewed it into his head was just even better. Like it was, man. White Rabbit is a very memorable villain.
I appreciated the twist there too. When after the accident, or if you want to call it an accident, after they blew up the doggone and everything.
No accident.
It's a very intentional blowing up of the warehouse that they were trying to come into from the portal. His reaction to laugh.
Yes, he lost it.
Always anytime someone loses it and they just laugh, you're in for, like I said, an all-time.
I mean, it's the Mad Hatter, so
it was done in a way that, you know how we've seen that scene before, and like the character, you kind of can't tell if they're crying or laughing. I genuinely thought he was crying. So when he started laughing,
well, the thing is, I think he was crying, and the only thing he knew how to do at that point, other than cry, was to laugh. It's like one of those things. You get what I'm saying? It's like, what else am I gonna do? I could cry, but this is also just comical. Ain't no way, dog.
Yeah.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
The way is right.
Like, ain't no way. He did so much. My man, with all due respect, he was Harriet Tubman in it. You know what I mean? And it was like, he was working so hard, and just imagine the fruits of your labor go out like that.
Yeah. And like, the laughter was the calling card for, okay, this dude is going out with such a... He literally was attempting to unleash hell on Earth just because... He's
going to reset the equilibrium.
Yeah, no, you go reset a lot of other things, too.
Speaking of resetting the equilibrium, just to break off of Devil May Cry.
Oh, can I make one more point? Just one more point about Devil May Cry, because it is quick. Was that or was that not? Were the Decon crew... Also, shout out Kevin Conroy. Shout out Kevin Conroy, R.I.P. Was the vice president. That was his last performance. So definitely shout out. And he gave one hell of a performance as the vice president. But was the team not in full on Overwatch gear? That was full on Overwatch gear, bro.
They were definitely in Overwatch gear. I thought you were gonna ask like something else relating to like how badly undersuited they were. When they thought they were so much better.
No, I knew they was.
I thought we had something like something more than that, dude. Like, nah.
She had ninja swords. Like, I wish I got more.
So I expected better. Like, you can't be rolling around here with ninja swords. You know what I mean? And you can't even do nothing.
I wanted more of their backstory because I wanted, like, you know how I am about like my romance. Like, I love the dynamic of like the wisecracking pew pew dude, and like
with the muscle mommy.
With the muscle mommy, she was, and I was like,
she was definitely a muscle mommy.
I was like, I like this. Give me more of this. And then when they all got like KO'd, I was like, oh, all right. So I see
quick, fast, and a hurry. They got them up out of there.
The worst one, honestly, I can't even. I don't even. I might have been my man that got his arm chopped off. That might have been the worst one. Because like he got chopped off and he got thrown into something.
Yeah, he got it bad for sure.
Well, I don't know, but my
he
fault.
got it really bad. No, you're good. You're good. I was just gonna say, speaking of resetting the equilibrium, I want your thoughts on Lazarus.
Okay, so first off, and I see why you say reset. So yeah, it's definitely not gonna be Ninja Kamui. I can say that. That made me feel good.
I don't think it will be. I don't think it could be.
After watching that first one, it did make me feel better that it's not gonna be Ninja Kamui. It is definitely got the excuse me, it's got the bones of a Cowboy Bebop series, which I love.
Yes,
the jazz. Throwing the jazz back into the anime when we got better animation now. Bro, I didn't even know I could feel that nostalgic. Like, and I'm a nostalgic person. I love growing up in the 90s. I didn't even know I could feel that nostalgic. Like,
I didn't know I could feel that again.
I didn't,
like
bro.
That.
I got teleported right back. I was waiting for Tom to come back with a doggone GameCube review.
Facts. I was literally sitting here watching this, just cheesing, bro. I was like, no, we did not just get Cowboy Bebop in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, we did not just get this. We living good. This is why I was excited for it. Yeah. I was excited for this. I'm taken aback by Lazarus. I think all the excitement I had for it is going to live up to the hype that I had in my head. Obviously, love like the animation because you know what we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
You already listen. There's somebody in this room. And so animation was fire.
One of these days we will tell the backstory of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tell the backstory.
One of the days. It's a story from when we were in college and involves obviously the Kendrick Lamar song, but we absolutely are gonna tell that backstory one day. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. And so obviously animation was absolutely fire. Loved it. I loved the fighting as well. Really dope. The world, I feel like they're about to build this world up something fierce. I don't know about you, but I feel like that. I feel like we're going to get so much cool shit like in this world, and I think they're going to build it up really, really, really well.
I looked at it as a very good. I won't say great, a very good first.
Getting episode. Like cyberpunk kind of like vibes.
I'm getting really cyberpunky vibes. I love the tech already. I think that the characters look very much unique from like what they are going to bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Although I wish that the young blonde hair kind of fireball dude, I wish he wasn't the tech guy. Because I like when those dudes are like the crash out guys. Yeah, I kind of wanted it to be like Luck from Black Clover. Like Black I love it. Like, okay, cool. We about to get the wild one. But I look at the show and I look at Lazarus and I see something that has the potential with the foundation that it's already laid out to be something that we not even expecting. I am curious about the mystery because I've seen mysteries like this done before in different ways. Agreed. So I want to see how they're going to execute it because this is a storyline that we have seen often where there's a magic drug, the drug goes wrong, everyone's going to die, it's going to be the end of the world. I mean, that's going all the way back to I Am Legend. So, and before that, so the reality is, I want to see how they're going to execute this, and are they going
what's going to set it apart from the things that have already done this?
Exactly, and how are you going to keep me engaged with something that I kind of have already seen done before? They are doing a good job with the inspiration from Cowboy Bebop, with the music, with the action. It is already starting to hit in that way, but I got to see how you're going to execute it all the way through. But I enjoyed the first episode. I'm not going to act like
one thing I'll give Adult Swim. I think they do a really good job with original stories. So I think we are going to get something. I think we got something on our hands, man. And I ain't just gassing it up because it was like something that was on my list in terms of like what I was excited for the most. I think we do have something on our hands. But that's all I got for Lazarus. I don't think there was much more to it.
I mean, because it was just a really good. I'll be honest, it was just a really good first episode. So there may not be much to add to it other than what it was. I mean, I just thought it was overall a really solid first episode. Yeah. I mean,
I wasn't wowed. I wasn't like I wasn't like not necessarily wowed. I wasn't like blown, away. But it was a really, really strong first episode.
Yeah.
So it does make it a little difficult to kind of, obviously talk a little bit more about it than that.
Yeah, but we'll get there.
But I'm excited. What else did we have on the docket?
We had Windbreaker, which I'll just talk on briefly because I know you're still catching up. And
I will be caught up by next week to talk about Windbreaker.
I'll keep it short and sweet because that's what Windbreaker like to do. Season 2 started. We got more of the reasons why we love Windbreaker. Just hands. Literally, we got more hands and we got more inspirational shit. And that's all Windbreaker gonna give you. and
You
I
got Nico
personally
Robin on here.
bro, listen. I'm telling you, when I press play, and I called you when it happened. I didn't even
You did.
I was like, I ain't gonna give AU no spoilers. I ain't gonna give him nothing. But I need you to know that I pressed play, and I had to go back and rewatch the whole first episode, the whole last episode from the last season, because I do not remember the fact that they was going somewhere to just bang out and like the episode started. There was no lead up to it. There was no, hey, where are we going? There was no, hey, we'll let you know when we're there.
Somebody
It was just they was just
piece the fuck up.
They was in there banging out, bro. And I was just like, this is exactly what I come to Windbreaker for. Nothing else but just hands. So I appreciate them for doing that. So, but yeah, AU, trust me, when you catch up, it's gonna be something that something special. It's gonna be special.
I'm waiting on it. I'm excited. Speaking of hands, just like quick little tidbit here. Solo Leveling sneaking into Crunchyroll Anime of the Year awards.
Yeah, I want to talk about that actually.
Bruh, I swear to fucking God. If Frieren does not win Anime of the Year, I swear to God, me and every Solo Leveling nigga could fucking fight.
So
it's gonna make me not even want to watch Solo Leveling if that shit beats out Frieren.
So I did see a lot of back and forth about the series that are going to be in the Anime Awards. Do you have them like readily in front of you? Because I wanted to know what were the nominations for the best anime of the year, because the Anime Awards can be very controversial.
It could be 100%.
It could be very controversial.
Page. However, let me
the only one on the
right
list.
now,
I saw the list.
Way I'm about to let this shit.
So
happen.
like I saw
the list is fire. I got it. Okay, so we got Dan to Dan.
Okay.
Frieren, Kaiju number 8.
Okay. It's a good ass list.
Delicious in Dungeon.
I gotta watch that. I hear good things.
I've been saying that too.
I hear a lot of really good things.
I'm just a little over dungeon stuff right now, like because I wasn't really deep in the dungeon, like isekai world for a long time.
See, I'm good. Coming out. I can actually dive into that because I haven't been. You absolutely were. You was watching random dungeons. You was watching.
I was watching random things. I'm just enjoying it.
Plumber down in the dungeons, bro.
Yeah,
like that. So yeah, okay.
I was definitely out here. Aaron the plumber. Apothecary Diaries, which we've both heard really good things about, and then Solo Leveling. So I think
oh my God, Solo Leveling better not win. I ain't gonna lie, bro.
Solo Leveling wins. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
Solo Leveling can't win there. Like, and I'm not saying that again. I'm not saying that because Solo Leveling it's the most popular anime right now. I think I'm pretty okay saying Solo Leveling is the most popular anime right now. I think that there's so much that Solo Leveling brings to the table that we sometimes forget that there is so little that they also bring to the table. Like they don't got a lot of side dishes. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's got a lot of they got a big ass turkey on the table, but where the mac and cheese at? Where the collard greens at? Like where the yams at? Like it's not. We don't have that.
We don't have that. Like,
but it's a bomb ass juicy ass turkey.
Yes, exactly. It's like, and realistically speaking, nobody really eating turkey outside of Thanksgiving, so it's like it's really got to be turkey because like that's the only time you eat in this bitch. So. Great analogy, fire analogy. But if that shit wins, I'm gonna be sick. I swear to God.
Over Frieren, over Kaiju number 8, over Dan Dan, that is a lot. Just because I think
I can even you can make the argument that Solo Leveling is better than Kaiju number 8. I could live with that. I don't think it's better than Kaiju number 8, but if you made the argument, I could live with that argument.
I don't know if I could.
I hear you. I'm a huge Kaiju number 8 fan, and I'm really on board. I think it's going to be a phenomenal anime. However, I'm just trying to be a little lenient. More times than not, I'm not that lenient about things. So, this is the one time you're going to get that from me. But winning that shit over Dan to Dan or fucking Frieren would just be madness.
That's wild.
Absolute madness.
Going down the ladder, and this is gonna make me, to be honest with you, I might, after we get done with this, I'm probably gonna either start Delicious in Dungeons or Apothecary Diaries, because outside of like what's out now, the only thing I'm really watching is Dragon Ball Daima, which again I am, and I know I'm barking up the tree that you ain't never gonna watch, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I am wildly enjoying it.
I'm happy for you. Yo.
Oh, it is. Dragon Ball Daima is very, very enjoyable. I'm not acting like it's anime of the year. I'm not getting hyped that it's not or getting upset it's not an. It is just very, very enjoyable. But I think when you look at anime of the year awards, it's not better than Solo Leveling is not better than Frieren.
That shouldn't even be in question.
You want to make the argument it's better? You can make the argument. You personally, AU can make the argument it's better than Kaiju number 8.
I can't. I didn't say that.
So,
I'm saying if someone was making an argument that it's better than Kaiju number 8, like I'd entertain it and be like, all right, whatever.
Okay.
I would never say that.
Dan.
No.
I don't think it was better than Dan. Just because the moments and the hypeness of the action that we got was better in Solo Leveling. I said Solo Leveling is such an action-packed anime. It really is. It has such great fight scenes and choreography. We not acting like it don't, but it does. It leaves so much.
Very fun.
It just leaves so much to like. It leaves so much on the table. It just does. You look at some of these other series, and the other series are more complete pieces. Where it's like I'm not only enjoying this more, I think it's actually a better project than what I'm getting over here because I'm getting a one note. I'm getting one note here. I'm getting something that is one note. Recognizing that it is that. Not saying it is
and that's okay.
Or anything. Just recognizing it as that. But it's not better than the other ones. Over Frieren? Frieren. To be fair,
better win.
Frieren should win. Frieren should win Anime of the Year. I do want to go back and watch the Apothecary Diaries, and I do want to see Delicious in Dungeon. I've seen some clips from Delicious in Dungeons, and that shit don't look like it's gonna just be all gumdrops, rainbows, and laughing. Like
I'm gonna have to check it, which sucks because like the fact that it's voted for Anime of the Year, I'm like, all right, I gotta check it. More times, like I'm pretty sure I watch almost every anime that's nominated for like Anime of the Year award.
Yeah, my brother-in-law does them all. My brother-in-law does the same thing with like the Oscar movies. Like every year,
exactly.
He watches, like,
I do the same exact thing. Anything got nominated for Oscar, like I'm gonna watch that. Just because I'm here, we don't have to really talk about it that much. Because I'm going down the vote progress. Best continuing series. We got Bleach, Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, One Piece, Spy Family, and Oshinoko.
Oh, Oshinokoi.
Yeah.
Oh, this is okay. All right, now this one I can get a little bit into.
This one's kind of
give me that list.
Kind of gas. It's a kind of a gas list. Okay, I ain't gonna hold you.
Give me. So this is for best continuing anime.
Yes. Also, shout out to fucking Bleach, my nigga. After being away for so long, and we really back in this bitch. Sorry.
Remind me. I got to tell you a funny Bleach video I saw. I'm gonna say it on. I want to say it on the pod, but remind me. But go ahead.
You said is the thing you sent me on Instagram?
No, was it about like Bleach fandom?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I see that. Okay.
Yes.
The Bleach fandom is like the nicest fandom. Where it's like, yo, you watch Bleach? Come on, dude, it's kind of cool. All right. Well, if you decide to watch it, hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, that's it. I ain't got nothing else to say. Bleach is the one thing you never hear about me. I don't even defend Bleach. I don't got nothing to defend. Like, yo, that's your opinion. You good? Because the niggas that get it, they get it. Anyways, we got Bleach, we got Demon Slayer, we got My Hero Academia, we got One Piece, we got Oshinokoi, which I have not seen, and at this point, I'm gonna have to fucking watch it because you've talked about it a lot.
Oshinokoi is good as fuck. Yes. It is. It's mad good.
Spy Family, best continuing series.
So if I'm looking at those, I'm
not saying One Piece, but
see, okay, the Spy Family movie was really good, so I don't know if that like kind of plays a role into this because it is continuing. The movie was really good, even though the movie's not canon. So I'm gonna say because it's not canon, I'm gonna take it out for now. I think Oshinokoi is really, really good, but I don't know if it compares to the other ones. To be fair, I do got to finish the last season. I got like 3 episodes left on the last season, and I did just get kind of a wild reveal right after. I got like midway through, I got like a real wild reveal, so that's why I had to like take a quick break. So I'll try and get that knocked out all the way through. I love Spy Family. My Hero had a good season.
They did. They did. My Hero was a really good My Hero season.
I'm not caught up with Bleach. Where are your thoughts on Bleach in comparison to the ones that you've seen on that list?
I loved it. I mean, like I'm also biased, 100% recognizing that.
But I also think you have even though you're biased, you have the most like knowledge, at least out of the two of us, and like
they're doing a very good job.
Opinion.
Like I just really appreciate the fact that Tight being a part of this and like fixing a lot of the things that people didn't like in the manga is just fire. We're getting a more complete Bleach than we did in the manga.
Okay.
And that's just gas. Like I really appreciate and love that.
So what were the other two on that list that I'm missing? So we have Bleach,
Demon Slayer, One Piece, My
Demon
Hero.
Slayer. That's the one. To get Demon Slayer out of there. Get Demon Slayer.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I get Demon Slayer out of there. Not even Demon Slayer for me has it peaked in the entertainment district. I'm still here. It peaked in the entertainment district, and then it peaked again when we thought Nezuko was gonna die.
Yes,
those two are the top tier moments for me when it comes to Demon Slayer. Outside of that, Demon Slayer, I feel okay saying pretty mid. I think Demon Slayer is pretty mid outside of those two moments, especially on the trajectory in which it was going. There are so many other anime that are better than Demon Slayer now that have not only surpassed Demon Slayer as one of its like contemporaries that came out around the same time it did, but there's been new shit that's come out that's better than Demon Slayer. Like Demon Slayer is okay, and I've enjoyed Demon Slayer. And again, it peaked with Entertainment District. That's still, I think, the best.
Does your opinion change if they finish this shit off like in a legendary fashion?
It would have to be more legendary than AOT and more legendary than how I think My Hero is going to finish. Because I thought AOT was going to finish strong, and it did. I think My Hero is going to finish strong. The jury's still out on that, but I think My Hero is going to finish strong. I got
a weird feeling Demon Slayer is going to end up ending better than My Hero.
You do.
That's my own personal. I have a weird feeling.
Okay, I think for me,
would I prefer My Hero to end better? Yes, I really would. However, I have a weird feeling Demon Slayer is going to end and just blow our fucking tops off, and like My Hero is going to give me something good, not great.
I mean, first of all, you already know Demon Slayer going to probably end with a big ass movie, so that's first and foremost. So my thing with Demon Slayer truly is that I feel like it got, and this is what I hope doesn't happen with Solo Leveling, but I think Solo Leveling is in a very similar trajectory point where it got so big and so mainstream so fast that they started catering, I think, to a couple of things specifically to help with the mainstream of both the series and anime as a whole. And I do bring up the movies because I think some of the movies, Mugen Train was good, and they had another movie that they went out, but it was basically just an episode. Like
I watched it in theaters. I was so mad.
That's what I'm saying. Like they do shit like that.
It was literally the end of the fucking season where Nezuko almost died. It was just a recap of the fucking end, and then like you get a little bit more. So I was so pissed. But
so anyways, you're doing that. You're already grabbing like money from everywhere because you're one of the biggest anime out. You're one of the biggest mangas out, and so you're at the point now where I think that they have become such a mainstream anime. Like when you talk to people that don't really watch anime, they have either seen, heard, or at least in some way, shape, or form, maybe even watched an episode of Demon Slayer. Because they've been in Times Square. I don't know if they had like a float in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, but like they was on this Times Square shit. There's like people that wear memorabilia from Demon Slayer. So
yeah.
I think that Demon Slayer had really great potential, but I think it has gotten surpassed by other anime series that have come out either around the time or after.
I can't even I can't fault you for the way you feel about it. I agree. Like I can't fault you. They definitely hit me with a lull for Demon Slayer. Like I don't know. It just felt like I was getting the same thing I was getting. Like. Yeah, nothing switched up. Like I don't know. It's just
the mystery's not even like engaging anymore. Like I know where Kuzan, not Kuzan, Muzan. Thank you. I know where Muzan's at. Watching Avatar. I know where Muzan's at, bro. Like we know what's going on. We know he can be Lil Boy or Michael Jackson. Like it is what it is. The reality is that like for that series, there's so much that they could have done, and I keep going back to the entertainment district because I truly think that
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think if they just shortened it a bit, it would have been better.
I think even if they flipped these last two sagas, or not sagas, the last two arcs, not the one where they were training, but when Nezuko was able to see the sun, when it went to the Swordsmith village. If that arc came before, and I know it would have had to change up some of the ways that they wrote the story, but if that arc came before Entertainment District, or if they gave the Entertainment District budget and animation to the Swordsmith arc, it would have hit a little bit different. That Entertainment District fight is one of the best fights I've seen in a very long time. It's one of my favorite anime fights.
Just in general, anime, it was an amazing fight.
So that pushed for me Demon Slayer to an upper echelon of like, okay, you're giving us story.
You gotta live up to that now.
You got to live up to that now, and they have.
The backstory was good. The idea behind the fight was good. Likable characters, even the demons. You liked the demons to some degree.
Yeah.
Not maybe not necessarily in a good way, but you enjoyed them as villains. Yeah, I agree.
And it was just a little formulaic, bro. I think it's gotten. You said that too. It's gotten formulaic to a point where, not that I know what's gonna happen, but I kind of get a sense of where we're going. And My Hero ran into that a few times where it kind of dabbled with that, like, hey, we had a great season, and now we're gonna take a little bit of a lull, and this is not gonna be great. And then they came back with like back to back fire. Like straight fire seasons that had propelled My Hero back to that place where we're talking about My Hero in the all-time great status. I don't think My Hero, again, they got to stick the landing. I don't think My Hero is going to be surpassed by Demon Slayer. I may be wrong by that, and if I'm wrong, hey, egg on my face. But I don't think they're going to get I don't think so. I don't think it's at that point because My Hero's going to, if they stick this landing with everything that they've got coming out, it's going to do the job that it was meant to do, and it's going to put My Hero in an upper echelon of anime that Demon Slayer just will not be able to get to.
We're going to see. I can't wait to see how this one's going to go. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because that's a bold statement. But we're going to see. Hey, I'm here for it. But I don't have anything else. I think that was it for what I caught for the spring season.
Don't be disrespectful. I'm gonna say one that
it wasn't a strong episode, dude, and I'm so disappointed. I'm disappointed.
Listen. Don't be disrespectful. You talked about.
I'm disappointed.
We talked about what you was excited for. We gonna talk about what I was excited for. So yeah,
but like I was also equally as excited. I love Fire Force. I'm the one who literally been hyping that shit up for mad long.
So what did you not like about the first Fire Force episode?
I felt like we got a little, like, it's a little all over the place for me.
Okay.
One, like, I felt like, what the fuck happened in between X amount of time from when it ended to now? And, like, there's so much shit that happened in that one episode, and I felt a little scattered.
Okay.
Cap is in fucking prison. Yes, they might turn this nigga into a fucking demon.
Yes,
fire demon.
Yes, they might. I think they will.
Burns switching sides didn't make any fucking sense to me. Like it makes some sense, kind of, because I guess he's a devout like soul person, and he saw old girl. But guess what? Somebody else saw old girl too, and they want to know the truth, not just let me blindly follow some shit. Like Burns seemed like the type of person who had some grit and some steel to him to be like, all right, this is right, this is wrong. Them niggas been operating way too wrong for you to just be like, all right, let me flip sides because, you talking real nice to me right now. That didn't make any sense to me.
So there's a couple of things that I think also play a role into this. And I went back and watched the episode again. I watched that scene again, and I think I'm going to do it another time because I want to pick up on more things. I think that scene, because that is for me the big calling point of that entire first episode was Burns'
100%.
Burns' decision, captain of the Fire Force Squad 1, to be like, all right, cool, we're gonna follow the white clad. Thank you for coming into our church, Latom. So like, that literally was what happened. He was like, oh, we fighting, we not fighting. Talk no jutsu. Latom.
Like nigga folded, bro. Crazy.
But I think old girl has something to do with it because she did say, hey, look, let me talk to him sensibly and let me also try and read his mind. I think her power, they need to explain her shit better because her electromagnetic...
Bro, I thought her shit was not that, nigga. Now all of a sudden she's a mind reader and manipulating niggas.
That was crazy because I think that's part of the reason why Burns folded the way he did. She manipulated him in a way that, I'll tell you, it would have made Naruto proud. It really would have. It really, truly would have. It was something that she was able to know based on, it was like she was picking up feeling and reading his mind and intention and then just use that to just come together and like literally put this dude together like Play-Doh. And
so I get it. Like I understand the thought process behind how she was able to flip him. I just feel like it being him and who he has been in the past of this show, it doesn't fit. It was too easy.
I thought it was too easy. I would have liked to see him struggle with that decision a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yes, it was too easy. It was too easy for me.
That is a good point, because if he struggles with it, even if it's like another episode of him, like she's in his head and he's thinking about, he's struggling, and then he goes over, it's like, all right, at least we saw him like have to have that, you know, that tug of war with himself to get to that next point. But the fact she says some words and he kowtowed immediately, that's something that you just, from a character like Burns, who's been this pillar of strength throughout the entire series.
Yes.
On top of the fact that, and I made this point to you when we was talking about this, you know, earlier after the episode we was texting, and like the point to me was the fact that Burns hasn't been the most devout person in that entire series. We've seen obviously Iris and some of the other members, but even from Squad 1, everyone else is in the priestly garb except for him. He's the only one still rocking the Fire Force thing. So if you so devout, get in your priest garbs, bro. Like, what are we talking about?
Some
here?
things definitely didn't add up there, man, and that really sucks, because I'm not saying I'm not going to continue watching Fire Force, because I love Fire Force.
Yeah, no, we here.
However, I was disappointed in that first episode.
Disappointed is tough, because I think it was a good. We had to come back.
It wasn't bad. Maybe I got to rewatch it and change my perspective a little bit.
One thing I think you should also just kind of keep in mind: we didn't know if we was gonna get this, so they had to like reset everything in the first half of the episode. Because everything got reset in the first half. They were showing us like they was giving us intros again. We was getting fight scenes and all that. Like, and so we see what everybody can kind of do. And so because of that, I thought that they were just kind of giving us a reintroduction to everyone. But once we got that,
we definitely got the reintroduction a little bit. We got a little One Piece-esque there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, love Vulcan and his girl, bro. That just, every time I see the two of them together, it just warms the cockles in my heart. That's exactly what it do.
My girl. My
Iris.
muscle mommy.
Oh no, Maki. Yo, they did her so dirty when she grabbed the joint and they made her face turn into like a gorilla. Like, they did her so dirty with that.
That was filthy. I ain't gonna lie to you, but like, she a muscle mommy. Let her be.
I will say
she is a gorilla.
It was a really strong, I won't say strong episode. I think it was an okay first episode. So I disagree that it was a bad one. I think it was an okay first episode to set the table for where we're at. We are in the place where the big reveal with Burns and the White Clad coming over and him basically converting. I do want to know what Joker's gonna say about this, because Joker's gonna be like, "Yo, we saw the same chick. What you mean, bro? I saw the same thing you saw. Why you said it before? I'm trying to get to the truth. Why you over here? Why you on your knees, bro? Get off your knees, bro. You acting kinda
unfamiliar right now. No, 100%. Like, I was disappointed. Just like I really think it was the Burns thing, man. Mm-hmm. Maybe if I can get past that, like, I can view the episode in a different light. So I think I may have to go back and rewatch it just to see what's up.
Yeah.
And see if my feelings about it are the same. Because to be fair too, I was also watching everything back to back.
Yeah.
I let everything come out, and then I watched it all back to back.
I mean, I was like, I had a crazy ass weekend, so like I'm beat, so like I was able to kind of catch stuff here and there. I had to watch One Piece. I was falling asleep on One Piece at one point because I was so damn tired. So I had to like.
I fell asleep on One Piece too.
I had to come back to it. One thing I'll say about Fire Force, we talked about Obi being captured, him being in jail. I do want to see the repercussions of them going after and making enemies of other squads, but we've seen this before. This is kind of like the calling card that they've had to this point. Mm-hmm. I think the thing for me is I'm interested in the mystery at this point. I'm interested to see what happens now. What's going to happen? Obviously, something's going to happen with Obi. I do think Obi's going to die. And as much as that's going to hurt, I do think he's going to die. And I'm trying to prepare myself for that, because how else there's
no way he gets out of it. And the stakes have to be risen at some point. Somebody else has to die.
They have to put a battery in Shinra's back in a different kind of way. And the way that and the reason why I also think about this is something that was said by Charon, I guess, season or two earlier, where he was like, hey, every pillar has to have a protector. And Obi in all of Squad 8 is obviously Shinra's protector, but Obi specifically is like that pillar that protects the pillar. So I think in order to get all the protectors will die before the pillars do. So I think it's going to just be Obi's unfortunate turn.
It's just kind of like the natural state of the way it's going to go.
They got to put a battery in Shinra back. But one thing I think we both did enjoy about Fire Force was that opening, because Queen Bee don't ever miss, bro.
Queen Bee don't ever miss.
Oh my God, bro.
That opening was really good. What did you think about One Piece's opening, by the way? I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was. We had a couple good openings this past. Yeah, there were a couple good ones.
I ain't counting Limp Bizkit as much as it was fire and it was heat, but like I ain't counting Limp Bizkit.
Yo, it fit every time. Every time I got hyped.
Every time.
And that was one thing I will say about music with Devil May Cry. Just to go back to that for a second, was that, and like you mentioned before, the soundtrack was perfect all the way through. It felt very nostalgic in the way of like early 2000s, late 90s sort of like fighter game. Obviously, like, you know, Devil May Cry is a game, but like felt like a game, but then it also felt like an old action movie. Like, remember like the scenes from we're bringing up the Matrix. Remember the scenes from the Matrix where you just saw Neo running around and you hear the rock music in the background or some like pre-Linkin Park type shit. Like it that's what I got throughout Devil May Cry. So I you know, big kudos for that too. But favorite opening, I think the One Piece. I like the One Piece ending, I think, more than I like the opening.
Okay.
I liked obviously the Fire Force opening. That one's already in the playlist.
Lazarus was okay.
You said what?
Lazarus was okay.
Lazarus was okay too. Let me see, what was the other one? I did like Windbreakers, but that's season 2, so that we gotta get to that one. I did like Windbreakers. There was some other opening that I heard this week that I really liked. Maybe it just might have been Dragon Ball Diamond, because that one's a classic Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball opening. That one's but I don't know. I think overall this was a great first week. I mean, we're obviously going to get into more and more storylines as the season goes along, but I felt satisfied. And I also think that I laugh about it, and I know you and I have had conversations about like when we're in good anime seasons and we get a chance to eat. I think sometimes I forget what it feels like to, I don't want to say starve, but like, you know, we was hungry for a little bit there. Bro.
Yeah, we was hungry for a little bit.
we
had some stuff. Don't get me wrong, we had stuff.
We had snacks. We had some snacks. Like, I mean, we timed certain things out, right? So like, we were able to catch up on other great series like Free Rent and all that stuff that had come out, you know, earlier last year or whatever. So like we had the ability to kind of supplement that. But outside of that, we had some snack. Like, I love Shangri-La Frontier, but that's just a snack, bro. It's a good snack.
Yes,
it's a snack.
Yes. It is. Understandable. I agree with that.
Yeah,
yeah, that was it on the docket for me.
Yeah, no, I think that was it too. I'm trying to think of anything else that I had. No, I think that was it. I'm just looking forward to more stuff for the spring season. Looking forward to stuff for the summer season. Was there anything else that I had? I thought there was. Let me check my phone really quick. Hold on. I'm gonna just pull a quick audible because I want to check my phone real quick just to make sure I didn't save anything in particular that I was like, was this something I wanted to mention? Oh yeah, no. Other than the new season of Marvel Rivals, but that's not for this one. That's not. I'm gashed, bro. And again, if you haven't seen the picture of Emma Frost, if you just dies, you want to talk about a bosom mommy. Yeah, all right, I'm good. That was it.
Bet.
But yo, AU man, we appreciate y'all obviously listening. But AU, got anything you want to leave the people with before we get up and slide on up out of here?
Y'all already know.
Already.
There's always room on the couch, baby.
Always. And y'all, again, thank you so much for listening to us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on socials all across the board at Couch Steelers. And make sure you hit that notification bell on YouTube so you know when we drop something brand spanking new, like this episode and some of our other shorts and videos we got coming down the line for y'all. Other than that, we will be back next week. We'll catch y'all. And always room. Always room.
Peace.